So 3 weeks into this whole quarantine thing, and I'm still in the house. We're still can't go racing, but there's a lot of great people that we can talk to out here in the racing industry, and why not bring on some of the heavy hitters right now when you're just sitting at home, especially on this Easter Sunday. What's up, everybody? This is episode number 4. And first of all, happy Easter to everyone. But this is episode number 4 in the Groove Podcast, and we're talking with a heavy hitter. And I mean, this person needs no introduction, but this is the Elisa Noelle, No Prep Kings live event coordinator. How is it going today on this Easter Sunday for you?
Oh, it's going good. It's a different kind of Easter, and you're just flattering me like I'm some special celebrity or something. I'm just laughing over here. Oh, you're so funny.
Well, I
But
mean,
yeah, it's a
you
different kind of Easter over here, I'll tell you.
you are a superstar. I know you're going to say you're not and everything. You're super humble about that. And that's one thing that's really awesome about a lot of people in the drag racing community is that everybody is like, "No, I'm not this person or I'm not that." But at the end of the day, like there's a lot of celebrities, and you guys are still just great people, and that's what's super cool about it all.
Yeah, I try to stay down to earth. I think a lot of people just feel like, it's their passion. So because they have found some success with that, they don't see it as, like being a celebrity status. I mean, this is a passion. Either you have it or you don't. Either you're going to go all the way as far as you can go with it or you're not. So, that's I just feel like I'm just driven. I just love the industry so much. I don't see myself in that light.
Exactly. But I mean, we've got a whole topic here. We're going to talk a lot of no prep. We're going to talk about a lot of the things that are going on. But the first question I've got to ask, and we're just going to get the cat out of the bag and get this topic over with, is how has the coronavirus affected kind of you personally, but then the whole no prep like world, the racing industry in your eyes? How has it affected you guys?
Well, personally, a lot of people that know me know that I have two little girls. So, personally, we've been in the house since March 13th, since the school release date, and it's been really challenging. Not only have I been trying to navigate the changes with our schedule for No Prep Kings, but I'm also trying to help the companies that I do marketing for stay afloat and keep the momentum going when things are not not feeling very positive. So to keep the positivity going and to keep the content coming in, because I mean, by now we would have had a lot of racing going on. So the manufacturers that I work for, that I hold so dearly to my heart, we would have lots of content to talk about, and we don't because there really hasn't been much racing at all, and we're mid April at this point. So on the No Prep Kings front of things, I mean, as you could probably imagine, and I don't know, I don't think a lot of people realize what goes into these events when we are on the planning side of things, but it is a monstrous task to put together an event that is on this scale. And when you have to postpone these things, it's very difficult. So, it's been a lot of uncertainty. It's been a lot of, just kind of taking things week by week without, and not really putting us in the position of not being able to give a lot of notice to people when we do these postponements. We're trying to do the best we can. We so badly want to get to racing because we have a TV show to film. But it's just a week by week thing. And as you probably know, we have postponed 3 of our events so
Yes.
far. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because we had a jam-packed season planned. We had 13 events planned, which as of right now, everything is still on the books. Yeah, we've had some postponements, but we're still planning to do 13 because we still have to make the TV show.
Exactly.
So
And
that's
I'm
going to be the really big challenge right there.
I can say one thing with everything that's kind of going on, it's given me a chance to actually catch up because it's like, okay, between Idol and this show and that show you got to watch, it's like, all right, now I got a time to go back, rewind, catch up. So I think I have like 4 episodes left. So I'm like, okay, we need to get to racing soon. I'm starting to get to the end of, my recorded shows. So that's for sure. And I
Nice.
mean, like I said it a couple episodes ago, but I always thought this could never happen to the racing industry, right? Like, oh, we're the biggest, the baddest racing industry. Like, we're never going to shut down. That's never going to happen. It's never going to stop us. But then it hit close to home, really close to home. As one of the people I work for, Bobby Bennett with Competition Plus, he had it personally. So for me, it was like, wow, like, it hit really close to home. And it's just one of those things where it's just like, okay, I think everybody's at the point where we're like, okay, when can we go racing so we can just go racing? But I think we're going to take this whole racing, platform and everything that we do now racing a lot more serious than we took it for granted before because we did it every other weekend or, it was on TV whenever we wanted. Now, if people are missing episodes, this is hurting the business financially, everything like that. Um, I think we're gonna see a totally different outcome and a different dynamic of racing once we get back to it.
I agree 100%. Like from my perspective, it's easy to forget how like fortunate I am to have a position like I have and be able to do what I do for a living. And it truly is my passion. But like you get kind of in the, oh my gosh, I've got to fly 13 times this year. I've got to go on 13 trips this year. This is so much. But now that I have had this, I guess, time of reflection, like where really, things could go away in an instant. This has changed everybody. And people can say it didn't change them and they're still living like the regular life, like a lot of people that don't get out a lot or whatever. There's no way that it hasn't changed every person. And I will be just glad to get back to like normal life. And I will literally never complain about my travel, never complain about the long days, because some of my days are, 20 hours, 19 hours. Like I won't complain about it. I will literally wear a smile on my face and be glad to be there. And I can't wait for that. And I think it's going to give people a new motivation to get back out. Because look at, like, we're literally stuck. We can't do anything. We cannot
Exactly.
have anything. So it's like, let's get back out there and support. I mean, it's not just about racing. It's about everything. It's like, let's get out of the house. Let's enjoy our lives and like not, but we can't live in fear either. So I truly feel like we need to push for us to get back out there and do these events. Like we can't live in fear. We can't let this virus keep us in the house forever. Our economy is going to collapse. As far as racing goes, I mean, there's so many moving parts on the back end. There's so many manufacturers. If they go away, what do we do? There's no racing. There's no race car parts. It's a big industry. And I think racing in itself is somewhat protected in that it is such a niche market that is, it's a hobby based market. So I think that, people that are highly invested in it, they're not, it's their passion. You know what I mean? Like they have their regular jobs, their regular lives, and then they put all their extra money and all their extra effort into racing outside of their regular lives. So I don't think it's going to go away, but I know I'm going to be ready to get back out there. And I hope that all the fans just come out and just support Street Outlaws instead of being mad at us for postponing events, because I'm on the front lines of the emails that are coming in, and people are very angry with us, and they're combative even. That we aren't just like giving refunds and stuff. And the thing about it is like every event, whether it's NBA, NASCAR, NHRA, everyone has a postponement policy in their print where you buy your tickets. And we're not doing anything that anyone else wouldn't do. We're doing the best we can. We're trying to give everyone a lot of notice to make travel arrangements. We're trying to take everybody's feelings into into account, but at the same time, we have a TV show to film. We can't just cancel events. We can't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I hope that everybody starts to kind of calm down, cool their heels, realize that we're doing the absolute best we can do, and that we're going to put on a great show, regardless of if we have to postpone it a few weeks due to something that's completely out of our control.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
And
yeah.
see,
So it looks like this. Go ahead.
and that's kind of where I am. It's like, this kind of gave me a little bit of time, as I call it, rest time, is just to sit down and be like, okay, I need to record more episodes of the podcast. I need to do this. I need to reach out to people. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've noticed is a lot more communication between people right now is like, okay, what can I do to help you, or what can I do to help you? Make sure that your neighbor or your friend or even your competitor is doing okay, because this is a competitive market and everybody's going to say it's not or whatever, but we need each other. Jegs need Summit and Summit needs Jegs. I hate to use that, but I mean, it's totally true, because that's what drives the industry of, okay, hey, let's make better products. Let's do this and let's do that. But I know we can go on and on and on about this whole, virus thing. And that's a podcast in like 20, 50 episodes, right? Just this whole thing and what it's doing. But then the next question I want to ask is, what can we and you've kind of touched on it, but what can we expect, or what do you think we can expect with once we get back to racing? I mean, the first is supposed to be in Tucson in March. So what can we expect? I mean, no, that already got canceled. Sorry, I'm looking at an old schedule. We're already in April.
So that one's actually going to be, I think it's July 31st and August 1st.
Yeah.
I believe as of right now, our first event will be South Georgia Motorsports Park.
Okay.
See here. So.
And see, there's even big news with that. I mean, Wade, he used to be at SGMP, and I don't know if he'll be there. That was big news in the industry a couple of days ago that he took a new position.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a game changer.
You want to touch on that a little bit about Wade? I've known of Wade for a long time. I think we all I don't know him like on a, I wouldn't call him on the phone or something, but I mean, everyone just kind of knows everyone, I guess.
Yes.
But is there some kind of news or press release on that?
Well, all I know is that Wade is no longer with Orlando Speedway, and he took a new position. And that's what I've know. That's what I've read. I don't want to go too far into that, but
okay.
I mean.
Yeah, I mean, everything is status quo with us. We're moving forward. We're getting all of our ducks in a row, and we're planning these events. Like, I mean, of course, we have to be a little cautious with them, with spending money and stuff like that, because there is so much uncertainty, and we are operating on quite a tight budget in a lot of ways. So I have to be cautious with our spending and stuff like that. But we are moving forward. I mean, as far as what to expect, I mean, we've got racers who are getting extra time right now to go test. These private test sessions are happening. We've got
Corona
racers
Test
who are
2020.
getting
Corona Test.
Corona Test 2020. Like, as long as they follow the rules and they got 10 or less, like 6 foot, social distancing and all that. I mean, they're doing what they can do. I know Tucson Dragway is doing like a test. I don't know how often they're doing it, but they're following like all these protocols where like there's hand washing stations and the staging lanes. Like, there's no crew allowed, it's driver only. Like, but to get out there and get your car tested so that you can go to a big stage like No Prep Kings is a big deal. And it's a little bit of it's going to give people a little bit of an edge if they take advantage of it, I think.
Exactly.
And then of course we have new race cars coming out. I mean, we've got these teams that have been thrashing all winter with new cars and revamping their old cars completely. There's a couple of new players that are going to come on the scene, I believe. And, as you know, that the Ryan Martin new ZL1 Camaro is coming out. I mean, but everyone's getting this extra time. Like, here when I was like, oh, wow, all these people are coming out and they're not going to have time to test these cars. I was wrong. Like, look, they've got time to test them. So it's going to really be a driver's race. I think these cars are going to be fast. I think they're all going to be fast. All of them have time to get their paint job fixed up. They tagged the wall last year. Like, the cars are going to be looking good, and they're going to be fast. I think it's going to be great.
Who knows if this keeps on going, I might just try and pick up a huge sponsor and get my car done, but that ain't going to happen. But I mean, it would be cool. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, and like you said, there's a lot of big things coming that gives a lot of people a lot of time to sit and work on their cars right now. And speaking of working on their cars, one of our great sponsors, Matt Bro Motorsports. This podcast is brought to you by the good folks over at Mad Bro Motorsports, the leading parts store in Minot, North Dakota for all your racing and performance parts needs. Call Slam and Sam and the gang over at 701-720-7996. Again, that is Mad Bro Motorsports, located in Minot, North Dakota. 701-720-7996. On the way to being free. And that's another great thing about all this is we have so many great sponsors and so many people that like go behind the scenes just like yourself that are not, always advertised or always don't get the proper recognition. But in a time like this, I think it's really, really crucial that we hunker down and support our sponsors, help promote them, because they're not just sponsors, they're marketing partners. And that's one of the biggest things that I, as advertising, I'm learning is that you got to thank all those people. And in a time like right now, the no prep kings like Race Quip, and I know you probably know them way better than I do, but I see them all the time. Race Quip, Atomizer, I know you do a lot of work with them. Is there any other, people that you kind of just want to shout out for the no prep kings and, tell people, hey, shop here, support these people because they're the people that are helping us put this great show on for you guys?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, Atomizer is probably my number one. That's my day-to-day marketing client, I would say, and I have a really strong relationship with them, and they build the greatest injectors on the planet as far as I'm concerned. And then of course there's Precision Turbo, and I mean obviously that's a household name. Turbonetics, also another household name, and then Visner Engine Development. Precision and Turbonetics are, larger companies, but, you would be amazed at how small some of these other companies are and how they really truly need the support from everyone. Like everyone needs to band together. Everyone's feeling the crunch right now, and business is slow for absolutely everybody. So, I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people are counting their pennies and they don't want to spend a lot of money right now, but they should be taking advantage of the sales that these companies are putting out, because that's something where it's pretty rare. Like we just did a 10% off atomizer sale, which, adds up. Like, a set of atomizer injectors would be $3,000, 10%, $300. I mean, it's a way to support the companies and go ahead and get your car ready for the season. So, that's kind of my shout outs right there. Visner Engine Developments, Atomizer Injectors, Precision Turbonetics. Those are my people. So,
well, there you go. If you're listening to this, you just heard it right there. So take advantage of those discounts that everyone's doing and just support the people that are continuing supporting you. But so what my biggest question, and I know you and I talked about this quite a bit because there's a lot that I want to do behind the scenes with the no prep guys, but what is the thing in the stories that people don't know about these racers? Like, what can you touch on about that with all of these racers?
Do you mean like on a personal level about the racers, or I'm just trying to get more specific?
I mean, yeah, either, because there's a lot of stories like you and I have talked about. There's a lot of stories that people don't know. These people, we all as fans, unless you've been to the race or any of them personally, a lot of people just see what they see on TV or what they see on the internet. And
right.
But they don't see, unless like a good person is, I'd say right now, Jeff Lutz or someone like that. They're putting a lot of content out like, hey, we're in the shop. Hey, we're doing this. But a lot of people don't see the, 10, 11 o'clock nights, the 1, 2, 3 in the mornings, and then turn around and go to their full-time job and then turn around and get on the road for 18 hours. And you see the racers and you see these people all the time. So when they're pulling into the pits, let's just say on a Wednesday afternoon, what is that experience like? What can you tell, I guess, someone that's like, man, they just live the life. They get to race whenever they want. They're on TV. They're making millions of dollars and this and this. That whole persona of everyone. What can you tell everyone to really break it down to a personal level? I know I have stories, and I talk to some of the racers, and just like at PRI, everyone's around, but like what could you say from your side as being the event coordinator? What are some of the things that you see that you don't think people know or understand?
I don't think that people understand that the money is not as large as they think it is. I think naturally, because it's on the Discovery Channel and everything, people are just assuming that they race for free, that they just show up in their rigs and they just like, they've got, extra engines sitting in the trailer, they've got extra transmissions sitting there, and like if something breaks, like somebody else is covering uh is covering the cost there, and that is not the case at all. These people sacrifice time away from their families. They sacrifice holidays. Some weekends are holiday weekends that we're out there. Not to mention, a lot of them have regular jobs, so they literally leave their job and they drive all night to get wherever they need to go. They get there just in time. Like usually, generally speaking, a No Prep Kings racer will arrive on a Thursday, and they get there in just enough time to like get all of their stuff unloaded, which is like a massive undertaking to get their tent set up, their race cars out, tinker on whatever they need to do on the cars, get them ready to race, excuse me, get teched in. The rules committee comes by and makes sure that everybody is following the rules and stuff. Like it is a huge, huge undertaking, and it is a passion that they have, but it's exhausting. I mean, I'm telling you, like these people will race all weekend and then leave the track as soon as if they say they go out first round and they don't have any reason to have to stay, then they leave and they'll drive all night on a Saturday because we're Friday and Saturday races. They get home, Sundays sometime during the day on Sunday because usually they're pretty far away from home, and then they go to work on Monday. So there's no downtime for these people to just chill and relax. Initially, whenever this race schedule came out, there was June and July was open for the street show filming, and now I think I'm seeing the writing on the wall. We're going to be using the June and July time for No Prep King so that we can get all the episodes filmed, and we're going to be back to back. These people are going to be all over the country back to back weekends, and it is going to be brutal. So what I would say to people is be kind, like understand that they're tired. They're still human beings. They don't make a bajillion dollars. It's not what it always might seem. And a lot of them are family oriented. They've got their kids there, their wives there. It's not a glamorous lifestyle. It's really not. It's a passion to bring their race program to the next level. And obviously, being on TV is a huge incentive for a lot of these racers. So, who doesn't want to be on TV?
Oh, exactly. But you
Yep.
said you said something there that a lot of people are probably going to look at and say, "No way, this couldn't be." You said rules, right? I
Hmm.
mean, people are going to be like, "What? They have rules? This is outlaw racing." There's no way. I
Yeah.
mean, they're blowing the doors off stuff. They're slamming it into the wall. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah. I
and
mean,
and
you know,
that's a big thing that I think a lot of people don't understand, and a story that needs to be told. Like, hey, yeah, your cage has got to be right. Your safety equipment's got to be right because yeah, this is for TV and yeah, this is for X amount of dollars. But at the same time, like, we want to keep you guys
well,
safe. We can't have you
you
guys
have to
flying out of the
level
car.
it. You have to level the playing field. I mean, you can't just have like some like you have to like they spend months on the rules every single season. It's not it's not for nothing. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, there's a rules committee. Yeah, they've got to, pass tech. They have to go over the scales. They've got to get their fuel checked. Those are things that have to happen. And yeah, people definitely fabricate in their minds that it doesn't matter and that we don't push anything. And it's not really no prep. That's what I hear all the time. It's not really no prep, but it is really no prep. We don't come there and do anything to make the surface any better. We do as much as we can do to get the surface as close to a street type surface as possible. And that means scrubbing glue off, using this magic elixir that Jim Hughes, our tech guy, also owner of Tucson Dragway, has developed. And he comes and washes the track, and they scrape it, and they wash it, and they scrape it, and they wash it, and they try to get as much of the glue from past races off as possible. Um, to get it is it's kind of like the real deal, like down and dirty racing. Like it is a driver's race. You got to have some skill. It's not just It's not NHRA, and I'm not hating on NHRA, but you can push a button and you can get from point A to point B, and that doesn't take a massive amount of skill. And I'm probably going to get some backlash over that comment, but
No, it's
it
all right.
doesn't. It's okay. I mean, it is, but it's the truth. The most gritty, hardcore, talented drivers are on the no prep surface. Period.
See this question wasn't on the thing, but since you said it, now we've opened a can of worms. Uh, so speaking of that, and then we'll go to the next question after this. But is Alex Laughlin gonna make an appearance? That's all I want to know. I mean, I've had him on my YouTube stuff. Hopefully someday, Alex, we can get you here on the podcast. But we all want to know because there is some drama there. What's that all about?
I know Alex, and I like Alex a lot. I really do. I think he wants a piece of the pie, and I don't blame him. He is a very talented racer. And if anyone has the means to put a program together to come out and really compete, it would definitely be him. I would love to see him out there. I don't know if he's going to or not, but I would love to see him out there. But he's definitely done his share of ruffling feathers for sure.
I mean, all I can say about that is that shout out to Drag Illustrated 2. At their race in Orlando, I talked to Alex, and he said that if there was a chance that, that it worked with his schedule, and who knows what schedules are like, but he did say that he would like to come out there and, just kind of just show up and see what would happen. But that, like you said, that's a can of worms. He has ruffled some feathers, but it's all good, right? I think the biggest thing about that is that at the end of the day, we're all still humans. We all still have a competitive nature. And if you cannot compete with someone or talk a little smack in our industry, a lot of people take it the wrong way. And that's the way it shouldn't be that way in my eyes.
Well, here's the thing. Here's another thing that's worth mentioning. And this may not be super popular with everyone, but and Alex is encompassing in this statement that I'm going to say, like, everybody wants to be on TV. Like the thing about no prep Kings, it's the hottest thing in drag racing right now. There's nobody else. I'm not naming names. There's nobody else that's touching what we're doing, and we're steadily growing. So I don't blame him for wanting a piece of the pie and wanting to get in on it. I mean, but the thing about it is, it's a point series, so it behooves someone to go the distance, right? And like go to every event or as many events as you can, so you can get as many points as you can. And obviously, the reward for that points championship is huge, like
Really huge.
six digits huge. I mean, where else can you really go and race for $40,000 an event? But here's the thing: people don't want and people like Alex. I'm not hating on Alex. I consider him a friend. I could call him up right now. But people like Alex that have a really strong footing in other parts of racing, they want to just they want to slide right into the cast member circle and be right in, and that's not how this works. You have to race your way in and earn your spot. So it takes time, and it takes them entering into the future street outlaws and following those types of steps to get to that point.
I agree with it 100%. And I think that's what's really cool about the whole point series. It prevents someone to say, hey, I just want to, yeah, you can show up and win that one race, right? But what does that do for you in the long run? Like, okay, yeah, you showed up, you win that event weekend, cool. I mean, I think it shows a real testament when you've got guys like Ryan Martin, and you've got my favorite, well, one of my favorites, but I'm not going to pick favorites, Mike Murillo.
Oh yeah.
And then you've got Chuck. You've got guys like that, and three guys that I mentioned that I talk to every year. I try to come to one event every year, but you've got them, battling it out, and it's like, all right, like that's the true entertainment of the whole series. Is okay, this person's in eighth place, but now all of a sudden, they've beat this person. You're trying to figure out, okay, how can this person move up? How can this person move down? And it's a tricky market, and it's a tricky game. And I think that's what's cool. And that leads right into our next question here is the fan experience. I believe we've all been cooped up in the house. We all want to do something. I'm gonna put it on the statement that says I think that every event will be like pack, 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 and you guys are gonna be like, the fire marshal says we can't let you in. Like
We've got, yeah, last year. I mean, we had a couple of really good ones like that. Some of the places we go, it's really hard to pack them out. Like Joliet is hard to pack out. That would be a great problem to have. I definitely think that when we can get back to it, we're going to advertise hard. We're going to do more to reach more people and create more fans, because that's really the ultimate purpose we have, is to create more fans. We've already got millions of fans of Street Outlaws. They've already got such a great following. We're just trying to take it to another level so the fans can be a part of it. So, there's some strategies that are going to be in place to try to get more people out. And I think naturally, absolutely, people are going to be looking for things to do, like this, like a No Prep Kings event. That's family friendly. It's something that you can bring your whole family to, and kids get in free. So, I mean, it's a win in my book.
And see, and that's another thing with the family experience and the fan experience that I've been talking about, is now that people have had the opportunity to have their kids in the shop with them, or maybe more time to spend with their kids, and say, hey, this is why I like racing. This is what I do to the car to make it faster. This is, X, Y, and Z. This is why I spend hours and hours and hours in the garage to, go a tenth faster, whatever it is. I think this gives people time with this whole thing that's going on. I'm not going to mention it again, but it gives people time to explain to their family of why they do what they're doing. And then I think
100%, it's bonding time. I mean, if you go to Murillo's Instagram and stuff, you're going to see Williams out there with him a lot more than he would be, because he would normally be in school. We would normally be living a regular life right now, and it is 100% like bonding time. And it's the time to bring your kid out to the garage. You're exactly right. And say, hey, I would love for you to do this with me. Like, hey, come in. We don't have anything else to do. We can't go anywhere. So let's get out in the garage, and I'm going to show you. We're going to swap this intake. You know what I mean? Just something simple like that.
yeah, I think that's huge right there. ALS Teca Mexican food, located here in Minot, North Dakota on the north side. If you want the best and authentic Mexican food located in Minot, North Dakota, please check out the gang up at ALS Teca Mexican food, located right near the Minot International Airport. Go up there, try one of the burritos, and I guarantee you will not leave hungry. The best and authentic Mexican food here in Minot, North Dakota. Again, that is ALS Teca for all your dine-in and dine-out needs. So, I've got to ask, what is your favorite story, or what's the best racing story that is family friendly, that that you could tell for everyone to, like, just to kind of, familiarize again everyone with the Elisa Noelle. I'm telling you right now, you need to get a nameplate, and everywhere you go, it needs to say the Elisa Noelle. Like, if I had a good Jegs voice, I could do it. But like, the Elisa Noelle. I'm gonna practice that and record that, so on your Facebook it just says it.
You're so funny. So you mean as far as from me being a part of me racing myself? I haven't done a lot of racing. I mean, I used to race Mustangs back in the day. I don't have like any wild stories, but as far as my favorite racing story, I'm a very personal person. So like, my friends are like so dear to me, and I want to see them do so well. So I've got two, like when Murillo went and won season 2 of No Prep Kings, I felt like that was probably one of the best racing days of my life. Like, as far as like being involved, the pride and the excitement. I was actually in where was I? I was at a race in California. I was helping, I'm sure you're familiar with Bodie. I was helping Bodie with his West Coast series, and I was at a race in California. Sacramento, I believe, is where I was. Anyways, yes, I was in Sacramento with Tyler Crofton when we were doing an Outlaw No Time grudge race event together with Bodie, and Mike was in Dallas, and he won the No Prep Kings point series, and it was such an upset, and I just loved it. It was the underdog. Mike Murillo is anything but an underdog, but he he was the underdog for this deal. You know, that everyone thought the 405 was going to take it, and he went in there and he showed out and he cleaned house. And I just remember being at this other race on the West Coast and FaceTiming him when he won, and he was just like, it was just the most amazing thing ever. And then uh, my second favorite still gives me so much pride and joy inside because it just happened back in August of last year. It was the Armageddon no prep race. So it was not a no prep Kings race. It was a race where I actually just went and enjoyed myself for once, which doesn't really happen. And Kayla Morton took the $50,000 and she won the whole thing at Armageddon. And she did it with not all cylinders firing either. They swapped out a piston right before finals. Like it was a crazy, crazy thrash of like the whole team, like all hands on deck between rounds, swapping out this piston. And everything still wasn't 100%, and she still won. And I just remember how happy that made me. You know, I mean, it was just, she had some people really gunning for her that didn't believe in her and they didn't think she could do it, and she went and did it. And it was just like probably the most proud moment in racing I've ever, been a part of myself, So those are my two favorites.
And speaking about both of those people, I'm a fan. I'm a fan girl of both of them. I'm just gonna say that, throw that out there. Um,
Yeah.
Kayla, I met her in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What year was that? That had to be. Oh, that was the first. I think that was the first or second season. I can't remember exactly, but I drove from Minot, North Dakota. After I got off work, I drove 18 hours with a buddy of mine to drive all the way down to Tulsa. To watch the event. We got there at like 8. No, we got there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Drove through 2 snowstorms. Came back after the event. We drove like 2 hours, got a hotel room, woke up again in the next morning, and drove the rest of the way back. But Kayla Morton, Mike Murillo, and Chris, aka Boosted, those like hands down the nicest people. I had already met Chuck. I had never met Shannon Morgan was there also. I had never met Ryan Martin, or Kayla or Chris before, and super nice, just super friendly people. And I think that's the biggest thing, like we've said before, is just the stories that a lot of people have. But one thing I think you should do, since you're the live event coordinator, just saying, just throwing this out there, I think you should get like a all women's race going. Like you, Lisa Murillo,
Oh yeah, that's my girl. Lisa's my girl.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
all the moms should get, all the wives should get in the cars. One, who knows what it is? Rent a couple of cars or drive the crew vehicle. And I think you guys should do just like a little funny race, like, right?
That's cute. I like that idea.
Shout out.
I'm down with whatever.
So
I'm totally down with
if
that.
you guys do that,
But
don't forget, don't forget about me.
I know. Here's the thing: a lot of the wives, they actually are an instrumental part of the apparel programs at each pit, so they can't just leave. So it's a little bit of a challenge there.
Nope. So the guys have to stay back.
Yeah.
The guys have to, one of the crew guys or somebody has to stay back and do the merchandise, and all the women can go and make one pass, right? And the guys have to throw. The guys have to throw like at least $100 a person into the pot, and winner takes all for the women.
That's such a great idea. I love that idea. Yeah, I'll do it if there's some money in it.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it for free.
See, even see. So there you go. You guys heard it here first. But then finally, I just want to ask this question. I always ask you this, and you're probably like, Sam, stop asking me this. But what advice can you give to media people? You're in this industry. You love it. This is your livelihood. But for a person like me, for anybody else that's listening or just wants to try and live out their true passion, right? I've hit this for years that I didn't really like to do media stuff. I don't really want to do it. I just want to be a driver. But I kind of figured, I like talking. And I don't care about, if you put a camera in front of me, I can make a blankety blank of myself. But I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, I love racing. So what advice can you give to any media person, anybody that loves this sports and wants to figure out how they can get involved in it?
So No Prep Kings is a little difficult to get involved with on the media side because we are the media. So it's a little difficult on that side. But as far as media in the racing industry as a whole, I have been media. I have helped media. I have worn a lot of hats in regards to media. The bottom line is to have your own unique, whatever your own unique flair, and get your own content. Unique content is what people want. They don't want you regurgitating the same thing that you could see anywhere else, you know. So I just think that it's a matter of it's who you know. It's getting involved with a couple of really key teams. I think would probably be a good start. A lot of times you offer your services for free, and I know that that's hard for some people because you have a lot tied up in equipment and travel and stuff like that. But to get the content that you need, sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit. So that's kind of that's kind of the advice that I would say. Like, bottom line is unique content, something that is engaging. You've got to engage people, and kind of figure out what is it that you really like. Like, you are saying media is like all encompassing. But what is your favorite kind of racing? Because you can't be everywhere at the same time. So, like, you could build your media in no prep, or you could build, in any no prep stuff, or radial racing or whatever, but it would be hard for you to bounce around from every different type of genre of drag racing to be media for everyone. There's some companies who have done really well with that. Drag Illustrated is a great example of that. But I think as an individual, you've got to figure out what you like, figure out how you can get in with some people who can help you get on the inside, and then you create content that they're not going to find anywhere else. And I also want to give kind of a shout out to Justin Swanstrom. He's a great example. He doesn't have any media experience whatsoever, but he's turning his YouTube channel into, while me as his friend, I sit back and I just like shake my head like, oh my God, I can't believe what he's doing sometimes, but because I'm super professional, that doesn't work for me. But you figure out what works for you and your persona, and then you capitalize on it. And then you become, you become your own brand. You start branding yourself like he is doing. He's a great example of what to do when you don't know what to do, because he has no idea what he's doing, but he's doing it well. So does that make any sense?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, everyone does it, right? And I just got the notification on my phone earlier today. Your video watch time is up by 10% on your iPhone. It's like, yeah, because I have nothing else to do, so I sit at home and watch YouTube all day. Or like if I'm at work and we're slow, I'm watching YouTube. Like, I mean, that's what everyone's doing. So like I said, I really appreciate you taking the time. I really appreciate everything that you have said to me, talked with me about, cleared my head sometimes when I really needed it. But if you guys don't know, now you know the Elisa Noelle. Like, put respect on her name, okay? I'm just going to say that right now. So put the respect on her name before you say, hey, Elisa. No, it's, hey, put the respect on her name. But thank you for taking the time out of your day, especially on this Easter Sunday. Say hi to the girls. Give them a big hug. Hopefully the Easter Bunny has left them some goodies.
Oh, yeah. The Easter Bunny does not care about COVID, okay? The Easter Bunny didn't get the memo about COVID, and yeah, so the Easter Bunny will get all the glory again, just like he always does.
Oh, yeah.
And,
make sure there's some hand sanitizer. Make sure there's some hand sanitizer in there. But thank you again. Thank you again for your time, and I hope you have the rest of your day is great.
Okay, thanks, Sam, for having me. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed it.
No problem. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yes, everybody, that, like I said, and I'm going to say it one more time, that is the Elisa Noelle, No Prep Kings live event coordinator. So I just want to tell you guys about the easiest way to start a free podcast. A place where you can go, where there's a creative tool that allows you to edit your podcast from your phone and your computer. It's Anchor. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on every platform. I'm talking Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum. mean, it's just the way to go. So if you have not done already, please go over to anchor.fm, download the Anchor app, and get started for free today. All right, everybody. Yes, like I said, another great episode of the podcast. No Prep Kings Season 4. Season 4, you guys. No Prep Kings Season 4. If you have not already, look at the calendar, all the updates that are going on, and look and see when they are coming to your town or somewhere near you. Get in the car, take the family. It is a family fun event. Racing. That's what we all love to do, especially here in the groove. Even though we are out of the groove right now, I think when things get back together, and I made this bold prediction today, but I think it's going to be true, is that a lot of people are going to fill the stands of all these events. So don't miss out. Don't just wait for it on TV. Be there live so you can see all the action live. And then when you get home, you can watch it again and say, hey, I remember that race. But again, everyone, it was great to have the Elisa Noelle on an episode of In the Groove Podcast, episode 4. I hope you guys all have a great Easter rest of your day. And until next time, you guys keep staying in the groove. This is another episode of In the Groove Podcast, brought to you by LS Teca Mexican Food, Mad Bro Motorsports, and Outlaw Performance ENT. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of this great podcast, In the Groove. Stay tuned for the next episode. Until next time, signing out. Peace.